Good morning, it's Michael. I'm out here moving this morning. I was fortunate enough to get the day off of work on this beautiful winter day of almost 80-degree weather here in Boulder, Colorado, which is practically unheard of, and just enjoying life and trying to experience this area of the country where I live. Nope. All right, cool. So anyway, I just wanted to speak briefly, continuation of the onion diagram. And if you haven't seen the onion diagram video or the webpage at orenhealthcoaching.com on the onion diagram, you might want to do that. And anyway, what I'm going to talk about basically is the onion is layers of basically life and awareness and how it presents itself physically and emotionally. And as you peel the layers off, at some point you get to the core. Now, the core as an RN health coach really isn't something that I am directly going to be able to help you with, but I can give you suggestions or recommendations, or I can share with you my experience of some of the things that I have been trying to do to understand what the core human experience is for me. And it's going to be different for everybody because we've all been raised different and we all had different experiences in the womb. So I think that there are general human experiences that we can all relate to, and those are kind of the things that I address in Mend Yourself. And then there are the core issues that it's kind of if this is something that is a goal for you to for self-actualization or fulfillment, then this is something that's going to be exceptionally personal for you. For me, I've made a lot of growth in the past, I want to say 2 years. About 2 years ago, I started going to relationship therapy, and let me let this cyclist pass. How's it going? That's what we're talking about there, guys. So anyway, let me just show you this. This is beautiful. So anyway, to continue, I've been going to relationship therapy for about 2.5 years now, off and on, primarily by myself. And it started off as relationship therapy, and shortly after that, it was determined that we were going to talk about relationship issues, but we're going to talk about an entire gamut of issues. And since I was going by myself, it just basically became therapy. And within that time, I learned a lot of things. I learned about basically some of the conflicts that I was having internally, and the contradictions of why is it that I cannot be content, or why is it that I have inconsistent contentment. One day I feel one way about a certain thing or a certain concept or ideal or whatever, and then the next day, or maybe even the same day later on, I feel entirely different. And part of the reason for that is because of the human mind playing tricks and focusing on things of the past or things of the future versus things of the present moment. And this seems like a no-duh concept, but it's exceptionally complicated, and it's not something that you're going to get even marginal awareness to unless you have intention on the path of trying to understand this, in my opinion. Turns out that throughout most of my life, I've done a lot of backwards thinking, like trying to figure out why things didn't work. And what happens with that is you have a lot of fear, anxiety, worry, and overanalyzation of things that have occurred in the past and how to prevent future failures, which in a small way we have to learn from our history, and we have to learn from our mistakes in our past, but we shouldn't spend the majority of our time, the majority of our intellectual and emotional energy on the past. And there is a subgroup of people that have a tendency to do this. And then on the other side of that coin, there's a tendency to always be looking into the future. And these people actually, I believe, from my understanding, have a better outcome in life, and it's a little easier for them. But still, it's not optimal. Wow, this is nice. So the question is, then what's the best situation? The best situation, in my opinion, from my experience, is living in the present. So how do you do that? And if you live at the present, you have a better chance of actually owning, having a heightened awareness and an understanding and grasping and letting go of these issues that were core issues of your past and irrational things that you're trying to achieve, whether or not it's a status, whether or not it's a marriage, whether or not it's a house with 3 acres and it's just 2 of you, whatever it is. Basically, if you can focus on present moment, then you're going to have a much better understanding of what's going on and why it is that you feel the way you do, and how to correct some of these changes, because they're small corrections rather than large irrational corrections that you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to fix something that happened 10 years ago, or understand something that happened 10 years ago, for 10 years. So my recommendation and what I have done to achieve the present level of present-mindedness that I have right now is that I'm doing all of the things that I recommend. I'm moving, I'm educating myself, I'm nourishing myself, and I'm decompressing in a healthy way. So that's, I think, is the baseline. And then to give you some other tools that I have used is one, what I strongly recommend is journaling. And journaling will help you see patterns and kind of discover some things about yourself that maybe you necessarily didn't want to delve into. You pretty much have to, because if you're going to make journaling an effective tool, you have to be honest and you have to be open with yourself. And considering the fact that there's no one looking at the journal other than you, it's achievable. You can do that with a little bit of time and effort and dedication. And basically, if it causes you to focus on what's going on right now at this moment in your life before you go to bed, whenever it is that you're journaling. So that's number 2. First is mending yourself, and number 2 is journaling, which is a part of education, self-education. Third is basically watching some TED Talks on happiness and on present-mindedness. And you're going to potentially come across a few different concepts. One is from maybe from the Buddhist philosophy, from monks. And I would recommend searching that. And then there's also Eckhart Tolle. Now, I'm pretty sure that he does have TED Talks. If not, there's an audio series, I think it's 6 or 7 CDs, and it's called The Flowering of Human Consciousness. And I would recommend purchasing this. It doesn't cost much. It's like maybe $20 or $30 for the entire series. And listen to it while you're just moving, while you're walking in the morning. Secondly, if you have ever been someone that was interested or intrigued or aware of the potential benefits of meditation, I would recommend, and this is for someone that doesn't have any experience or maybe even has experience with meditation. It's a pretty comprehensive course by someone that has 40 years of meditation teaching and meditation practice. His name is Reginald Ray, and the audio series is called Mahamudra. I believe Meditation for the Modern World. It comes in 2 binders. It's like 32 audio CDs. But I can assure you, if you have any conflict, or questions about about meditation and what it means, almost everything is addressed here. So what I think is really good about it is because I have very minimal awareness of what meditation was and what the practice of meditation was, or what even the goal of it was, and it explained these things and all of the questions that I may have had to that I may have like counteracted. Well, what about this? Well, what about this? And in a way to asking the teacher to defend himself in this point, he answers all of this without you having to ask it. So it's comprehensive in the way that they actually address the issues that are pertinent, and they address the potential contradictions or conflicts that you may come up with as a practitioner in the process. So I don't know if that makes sense or not, but it was important to me, because I don't want somebody to tell me the grass is green unless they can explain to me why the grass is green and why I have seen it as brown for so long. So, and he does that quite well. So that's another thing you can put on your MP3 player, and as you walk around in the morning, hopefully with your dog or your loved one or whatever it is that you're doing to move yourself, you can listen to these teachings at the same time. And then lastly, if you can afford to find a therapist, just a general therapist, maybe someone to just establish a relationship with, and to go to like once every 3 months, 4 months, every 6 months if everything is pretty stable in your life, but to have a like a pressure valve or a default way of dealing with acute distress in your life, and to have someone that is not necessarily connected to you in a friendship or an intimate way to help you deal with some of these issues, because many times the issues that you have are of that friendship or that intimacy. So a lot of health insurance and a lot of jobs actually offer psychological counseling, and sometimes at no cost. So anyway, consider that, and those are the basic things that I wanted to recommend as far as trying to achieve a higher level of core. All right, thank you. Mend yourself.